Wow, it took you no time at all to get to 3 million. 3 million! Over half of the way through to beating our last spring semester. Very exciting considering that we're not even halfway through the readathon month, nor have we yet had our all-nighter, which I feel like is always a bit of a boost. So you're doing really well. Congratulations on all of the reading. Less of this and more of the dragon, which is what you're here for. As you know, last time we were at Dayrune and we needed to make our way quickly into Eartheria. Thankfully, we have a lot of people here who are studying Rift architecture, so portals to the rescue, and lo and behold, we are in Eartheria. We found ourselves in an area known for its lavish glades and gardens and just beautiful flora, which is of course Eartheria's known attribute as it is, but this area in particular is just very known to be thriving in spring. And we found our next dragon next to the impressive greenhouses of the Sunrise Glade. The creature was clearly a little bit confused, and the first thing we notice is this big flower pot stuck on its head. So it seems like perhaps this tricky situation was a little bit more self-imposed compared to the other dragons. We see this dragon stomping around, walking in circles, trying to go into directions but bumping into the greenhouses or the hedges or other plant pots, and then ever so often just plopping down on the ground, turning on its belly and soaking in the sun, seemingly completely happy, even purring. And the purring is so loud you can feel the vibrations even from the distance that you're observing this bizarre behavior. So the good news is that it doesn't seem like this dragon was really being harmed in any way, which is fantastic. It just seems to be unbothered by the situation it found itself in. However, we of course want this pot off its head. After a slight tug, it becomes clear that this pot is truly and fully stuck on its head and it's not budging. We definitely need some shattering spells and some careful work to get this off safely. We crack the pot, it only takes us a couple of minutes. We are all here very learned and capable mages. This is not a task that we particularly struggle with. With its head free, these beautiful, massive petals spring out around its face. And the dragon simply plops on its butt, sitting, looking up into the sun with a very smug face, just soaking it in. As if nothing even happened. It starts purring even louder, trying to walk around you, rubbing its body onto your legs. And I'm so pleased to present to you the Petal Dragon. This is a medium earth-type dragon, very much known for its friendliness and stunning beauty. And I truly mean stunning. The colors are so pastel but so rich and so soothing to look at. For a moment we all just stare at it and take it all in, because it's not a very common dragon, it's a rare sight, and it just seems so purely happy. What we do know about the petal dragons is that they bloom with the flowers of the season, so currently it's very pastel and very spring-like. It truly loves soaking into the sun because it also partakes in photosynthesis, so of course it does. So it partially feeds on sun itself, however, it very clearly also feeds on some rich soil, which is why it is found around gardens and greenhouses. Also why we found it with its head stuck in a massive flower pot, which it doesn't go unnoticed that it is currently completely emptied of any of its content. When the dragon lays down in a tall grass, you also notice that a variety of really beautiful wildflowers spring around it, so it clearly has this earth magic and enhancing of the magic going on for it as well. You notice this dragon really just takes its naps really seriously as it lays down for another one, because obviously this was very hard work for it. And you see the nature kind of awakening around it with butterflies and little flowers blossoming in very unnatural speed, of course. Just a very cheerful sight. When the dragon decides to shed the petals, those petals are also very valuable and they can be used for brews or potions. Sometimes they are very rare and unknown varieties, so it's also a little bit experimental as to what effect it's going to have. And sometimes it's flowers that you would recognize from the properties of the petal. It is a little bit experimental. You might get a healing tea or you might be tripping for a while. You know. Those who bond with this dragon also benefit from a very soothing and relaxing energy, which is perfect for those who have any anxieties or chronic pain that they would like to quiet for a bit. Personality-wise, the petal dragons are really unbothered, very nappy, kind of lazy, very sun-loving. They enjoy light, airy spaces. They're also perpetually snacky, so if you do have a lot of gardening happening wherever you live and you're bringing this dragon back home, it will help those flowers grow, but it also might chomp on them. So keep that in mind as well. I think it's a very adorable one. I was very excited to reveal this one in particular because I just think it's so fun. I hope that you like it as well. Do you think that your character is going to pick this one? Let me know. I guess 4 million is next, which seems very bizarre to say. I did not expect us to go through this so quickly. And this is its silhouette. It's a very different vibe to this one, as they all are. And I'm very excited to reveal this one as well. Good luck, and I will see you in the next one. I'm gonna leave you with my reading update, and if you're leaving here, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Good morning. I have a couple of updates, I think, but I am also getting ready because we're going to try and go to the beach today. But I have finished this book. I don't actually have many other thoughts than what I already said to you, so that's good, I guess. Nothing really changed from the previous bit. It's just tragic and sad, and the fact that was it like an unclaimed or lonely cemetery, I can't remember now the name of it, is very much like a real thing. It just adds to the sadness of it all, to be honest. A really good book though. I think it was very truthful to what it wanted to do, and I think it did it really well. As I said before, I would be hesitant recommending this blindly to everyone. I think it really depends what someone is looking for and what someone can kind of handle. I feel like I'm making it sound like worse than it is, but it's like quietly bad. It's not like gory, it's not like jump scary, it's not that kind of situation, but it's definitely... But also, those are not the things that scare me. The things that scare me are the things that I believe are real and can happen and are real life situations, because to me that is much scarier than anything fiction can do. So in that sense, you know, this is the type of topics that I feel like warnings are made for. But I don't want it to sound like all doom and gloom, because again, things that the friends do for our main character, the feelings that we're feeling, the lives that we learn about, it's all very beautiful and it's all very much about found family. So I again don't want to like make it sound like it's all just sadness and tragedy, but there's also no denying sadness and tragedy is a big part of the book. But overall, really impressed with it. I didn't actually expect that much out of it, so I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm considering taking one of the other books to the beach with me, maybe The Best Hex Ever, just because it seems like a kind of like beach read, right? Whatever that would be. I don't quite want to take instructions for dancing yet. I think I need to be more in the mood for it. I also might just go on and continue with the current audiobook, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I made like very good progress yesterday. So I've started and I was like 30-something% in, and then by the end of the night, so we did some Patreon sprints and then I continued reading whilst playing some games. I want to say I'm like a good 70% in now. I am loving it, don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm in and out depending on what's happening. Like the bits after the fights, great. During the fights, I get a little bit like, but that's never been my strength, you know? I get a little bit, not like bored, but I get a bit out of it. But I'm loving it, and the cat is growing on me. Well, the cat never needed to grow on me, but the voice of the cat is growing on me, so everyone can relax. All is well again in the world. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I think one of the things is that I don't necessarily think that I'm very much rooting for the main character. I'm not rooting for the main character, and he is growing on me, but primarily because he cares about the cat. That's pretty much it. But that's not a small thing, I guess. If the bar is so low on the floor. But I did speak to Logan about it, and he did say that it changes to be much better throughout the series, when the first one feels very introductory and kind of like shits and giggles, and there's a little bit more meat to the bones later on in the series, because I think he's like on the 6th, or I don't know how many there are. I think he's on a 6th or 5th book now. So that's a positive type of update. It's going quite well. I would say that this month overall, for like me liking the books, is really Hello! Good. Same angle, different day. Just did not remove the camera from here. But I have a little bit of a reading update for you actually. Yesterday at the beach, I actually brought this book with me. Well, I actually brought 2 books because I wasn't sure what the mood is gonna be. But I picked up the Prayer for the Crown Shy, but I honestly only got like 9 pages in, so super not far, literally here, barely an update. Cute though. I think I'm gonna try and read this physically, because I think last time I did do like an audiobook and I just didn't quite mesh with it, which is weird because obviously this is one of my favorite authors. So slightly like a non-update, but we ended up just like talking a bit more. I was really busy because the weather was nice, and I think everyone was just trying to get a little bit of sun before it abandons us for like a full week, because I think it's just going to be full on doom and gloom in the next week. So everyone was just very desperate for it. And then the tide came in, so the amount of beach left was also even smaller, and we ended up just sitting quite close to other people, and the other people were quite loud, and I just couldn't like switch my brain off. So I was trying to read, and like my friends were reading, but I just ended up like people watching for a lot of it because I just couldn't, like I could hear them talk and I couldn't hear myself read kind of thing. So not fantastic. However, I do have a significant update for the reading, and that is that I have finally finished the Dungeon Crawler Carl. This was half of my morning today, well, most of my morning today. We're sleeping poorly now because the cats have been swapped to like mainly wet food diet for Momo's digestion. Unfortunately, that has made them very insufferable. Like during the mornings, we're trying to like retrain them to stop meowing and trying to wake us up. So I woke up fairly early. Logan actually literally slept until 12 o'clock today because we just kept being woken up during the night, and it's just like not a very restful time, but I can't sleep that long because it will just end up being worse. So I got up, but I didn't have a lot of energy, so I just played games and I listened to the rest of the book. And honestly, what a Sunday morning. That's fine. Like that, no regrets. But my bookmark being here, but I did end up finishing it. I thought it was really fun. I do think it is very descriptive. It's extremely action focused, which is two of the things that it's not particularly geared towards me, but in the right mood, this is a kind of like 10 out of 10 read. It's very uniquely D&D flavored, so if you're looking for something like that and you're looking for, you know, a time where you don't have to think too much and just get into an adventure spirit with our main character Carl and the main character cat, who's right here. I think we have like a bigger cat on the back as well. Our Princess Donut. Whilst we go deeper and deeper into this dungeon, at the very end they also get another companion that joins the party with, I would say, questionable name, but I'm just not gonna think about it too much. I will say the audiobook has grown on me, and I think the narrator does a beautiful job with so many different voices. I still stand by the fact that I probably would read Princess Donut slightly different, but that is just extremely personal preference, and it's not to say that they did a bad job, it's just to say that that type of personality I don't normally like, so then it makes it harder for me. But a really fun read. I feel like it took me much longer than I anticipated for it to be with me, but it is now done. And Logan, apparently, I said that it was on like 5th or 6th, but he's actually on the 7th book. So I think that's like the last one that is out, and the next one isn't out until October or something like that. So he is like fully into this adventure, which makes a lot of sense because D&D is his biggest hobby, so makes a lot of sense. I would say to me there's like a tiny lack of a little bit more substance. Again, I was more motivated to read this when we had more quiet periods, or the characters were speaking with each other rather than fighting, and I think the fighting portion of the book is quite large, and we obviously moving through places and describing the items, describing what they do, describing the boss fights, describing the characters that we meet and the things. It's just a lot of descriptions, and it's because of the way that the book is set up. Obviously they just continue and continue. It's not like you're just gonna go through that phase of like learning about things and then that's that, because we're constantly moving and constantly getting new stuff. If you don't mind that, and if you love that kind of D&D stuff, I think this is gonna be fantastic. I obviously understand that the humor could be a hit or miss or something. For majority of it, I think for me it was quite like chuckle worthy. There were a couple that I was like, okay, well, but you know, like you can't have that many jokes and all of them land. So overall, a really positive experience. I will be continuing, I don't know when, not in April, but I will be picking this up when I need that kind of thing. Now that I understand what sort of story this is, I think it will really depend heavily on the mood for me. So I'll just wait for that to strike and definitely continue. So that also meant that I have now finished 3 of my reads. I don't have the other book with me here, but I finished 3 of my reads. I've started another one slightly. I have logged Carl onto our form, and we're also at 2.8 million already, which is bizarre. Bizarre. But wait, that's not all. I've also started another book, and I think this is gonna be like my main one, and maybe I will like, I don't know, maybe I'll just alternate between these two for now. But I've started Sorcery and Small Magics. This one I actually have very high hopes for that particular mode. The premise is a magical school. Fantastic alignment to Aurelium, I feel. We have an interesting magic system. Some are casters, some are I want to say scribes. So they write the charms, and then the casters cast them. We have two rival students that have known each other for a very long time and have like held on to loads of grudges. So the one that we're reading from the POV is called Leo Vander, but Leo. And he comes from an influential family that has basically said like, you have to go and study in the school, even though you are not good at the big magics. He's good at the small magics, hence the name. He's kind of begrudgingly going into this academy, and then it's the 4th year and just wants to get it over with because of the family pressure. And then on the other side, we have another student who's very talented in the casting department, but appears to Leo very like stuck up and very kind of grumbled and grumpy. Loves to wind him up, both of them. Back and forth. There's a lot of like rivalry happening. A lot of the classes, they said that they have to be separated. They never work together because they're too disruptive to the class, until we do have them working together, because in one of the classes they draw names at random to see how they work with other people that they're not normally working with, because you know, in the real life you have to be adaptable and work with people that you're not normally working with, and they of course get each other. Hook that we're gonna have, I think it's actually in the synopsis. This is until a mix-up involving a forbidden spell binds Leo to obey the commands of his longtime nemesis Sebastian Grimm. Grimm is Leo's complete opposite, respected, exceptionally talented, and an absolutely insufferable curmudgeon. I don't know what that means. The only thing they agree on is that getting caught using forbidden magic would mean the end of their careers. They need a counter spell, and fast. And I love their dynamic. I also really like the writing style in this book. It's very easygoing, but it's very compelling. It's easy to get into. I think it does have this type of like humor, but the world is also not overwhelming. I feel like it is explained in like bite-sized pieces as you go, which I really like. And I like just kind of like slithered back into the story really easily, and I'm so excited to continue, which is always a good sign, especially during a readathon month. So this is my current read. I'm not far again, but I do want to spend some more time today reading this, since I'm having like a good reading day, I guess. I'm very pleased by how it's going, so I have still remain with high hopes for that. So that's quite like a good update, I feel. You know, we have 3 books down. So this passed astronomy for me. I have also already passed conjuration, as well as Art of Illusion from my Hunger Games book. This is spells and incantation. This is astronomy, and I still have psionics and divination and lore to pass. So not quite halfway page-wise. I might be though, because I think I've started with the biggest books. So that's also not too bad for me, I feel. I feel like we can do this, not to jinx it, but I feel like possibly we could be okay. Basically. But I have a lot of like cleaning to do, so this Sunday is gonna Sunday, I feel. I have some like admins, there's nothing very interesting. So I'm actually gonna leave it here and edit this so we can go out in time. I'll see you at Formulated, I guess.